Radhe Radhe everyone. Welcome to a daily wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. Nitinji, Radhe Radhe, over to you.
Radhe Radhe Amritwanichi. So you've been writing 10 times a day, last 25 weeks?
Yes, Nitinji.
So 90, that is 25 into 10 is 250 into 365 is 91 250. If I add leap year, 91,255 times you have written it, okay?
Yeah, almost, yeah.
You are closing into 0.1 million. Can you believe it? That's a lot of writing. Very nice. All right, Radhe Radhe. Good morning, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. Sunil Bhai, you wanted to make an announcement to begin with?
Nitin Bhai, thank you. Ajay is not here right now, but I just want to announce everybody while we have the captive audience, it won't take too long, just about the parenting session, the parenting pearls. So thank you everyone for your continued support of Radhakrishna Temple and JK Yoga. So parenting pearls, we're starting, will be Monday, March 14th and continue on Wednesday, March 16th, Monday, and then Monday, March 21st, as well as Wednesday, March 23rd. If you have not taken advantage of it, please do so. Right now, we have a special going on. That is a code word, is special in uppercase, and it's $25 per family. We got a lot of good response. A lot of people have signed up, so please do take advantage. We'll share with you the link on that, and we're going to have parenting know-how tools, techniques that works, life hacks, QA sessions, real-world case study, specialty prepared implementation workshop, guest speakers, and we have a panel discussion that we are working in that you don't want to miss. You're going to see a lot of folks from local. I think by the Majanji, several folks are participating and helped out tremendously. So please do that. And that's how I wanted to make that. So thank you, Nitin Bhai, for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you, Sunil Bhai. Yeah, do avail that opportunity. And the code word for the special that is going on is very secret, okay? It is special only. So do check it out. You can avail that. Thank you, Sunil Bhai. Anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think this is all yours. Let's break the shackles of Maya tonight. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, Nitin Bhai.
All right, let me share my screen and we'll get started then. All right, good morning, good evening, everyone. So today we are going to have a discussion. I picked up a shloka from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 14. This talks about Maya. Lord Krishna himself is saying that Maya is his own energy. And today we are going to have a deep dive discussion into why is it that we are being tormented by Maya? And if God is causelessly merciful, then why doesn't he simply release us from the shackles of Maya? And then if Maya is so difficult to overcome, why Maya to begin with? Why do we need that to begin with? So we'll get some insights into this topic, and I'm looking forward to this engaging discussion. So for now, let's get started with our opening prayers, and then we'll get deeper into this topic for the day. Let me see, I can make it. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening once again. So let's get started with our topic today. So like I said, today we are going to discuss this topic. As you can see, Maya Devi has, you can see the strings attached of Maya Devi, how it is making us dance to its tunes like a puppet. You've seen the puppet show. That's how exactly it works. So why did God create shackles of Maya? And God is known to be causelessly merciful. Why won't he break these shackles for us? We'll talk about this topic as well. I always used to wonder, and we say that it's all because of Maya. Maya is powerful. It just makes it like that. So we'll see. We will try to dissect this topic and try to get deeper into it today. Yes, Surendraji, you have a question to begin with?
No, I only wish that we should be thankful for the Lord to have created Maya.
Yeah.
That is for keeping us on alert. That is the best part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that we don't forget our God.
Yes. Thank you, Surendraji. So the dog's name was Rover, and today's session story is over. Thank you, everybody. Radhe Radhe. Let's get started now. Beautiful. I think you summed it up, but we'll go approach this, from a scriptural standpoint, and also try to reason it out. But you have hit the nail on the, what you call that, bullseye, basically, from that standpoint. So let's get started. Like I said, I picked up this shloka from chapter 7, verse 14. So before we get there, this question was asked to Ramana Maharshi. Now, Ramana Maharshi is one of the modern times Gyan yogis who was situated in I. He would not see anything other than I. So when he was asked, why did God create Maya? So the answer that he gave was to thicken the plot. I hope you understand what thicken the plot means. Just to make it a little exciting, entertaining, thrilling for us, and something which is worth undertaking. So he said to thicken the plot. And how does Maya thicken the plot is what we will discuss today. So let's get started. It's chapter 7, verse 14 is what we are going to do. So I'm going to recite it and then you're welcome to follow. Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva ye prapadyante Maya metam tarantite. All right, let's pick up some hands, and if you can turn on your camera, even better.
Ashutoshi, please go ahead. Radhe Radhe.
Ashutoshi.
Radhe Radhe. Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva ye prapadyante Maya me tam tarantite.
Very nice. Radhe Radhe, Ashutoshi. So the nest on the tree at your backdrop is increasing day by day. Have you observed that? We can see that nest every day. All right, let's take the next one.
Okay,
Thank you, Ashutoshi. Very nice.
Sumeshji, go ahead, please.
Radhe Radhe, Sumeshji.
Radhe Radhe, everyone.
Radhe Radhe.
Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mame Vaye Prapadyante Maya Me Tam Tarantite.
Very nice.
Radhe
Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Sumeshji.
Shyamji, go ahead, please.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Shyamji.
Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya
Getting stuck.
Maya Betam Tarantite.
Thank you. Your voice sometimes it drags, Shyamji. There's some disturbance in your audio.
Sandhya ji, please go ahead.
Yes, Sandhya.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mamaya Duratyaya Mamev ye prapadyante Maya metam tarantite.
Very nice, Sandhya. Radhe Radhe.
Dineshji, please go ahead. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Daivi Hesa Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mame Vaye Prapadyante Maya Me Tam Tarantite.
Wonderful. Nice, Nishchi. So those of you wondering how did we reach 7:14, we are actually in 4:8. So we pick up some miscellaneous topic in between with the reference to Bhagavad Gita just to mix it up so that we don't have to wait for too long to pick up some of the key concepts. And today we are discussing what is Maya and why Maya torments us. Are we stuck in Maya? And then if God is causelessly merciful, why doesn't he liberate us from Maya, from the clutches of Maya? So those are the topics that we are going to discuss today. That is why this shloka is picked up. So let's give a few more participants a chance who have.
Samji, go ahead, please.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Devi Haisha Gunmai Maya Duratya Mam Evye Padpadyanti Mayam Hetam Tarantite. Radhe Radhe.
Samji, Radhe Radhe. Very nice. So we'll take maybe two more and then we'll get started. We have some content to cover as well.
Okay. Neetaji, go ahead, please.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe
Radhe
Radhe.
Radhe.
Devi Hesha Gunmai Mammaya Duratya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarante.
Nice.
Radhe
Thank you
Radhe.
very much. We will take one more, maybe somebody who's new. I think we can pick up and then we'll get started.
Okay. Asha Pandit ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Asha ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Devi Yesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Mayam Etam Tarantite.
Very nice. Thank you, Asha ji. So let's get started. We have some content to cover as well and a bit of discussion. So let's get started for the sake of time. Devi means divine. He certainly, Esha, this, Gunamai, consisting of the three modes of nature, Mama, Maya, one of God's energies, that veils God's true nature from souls who have not yet attained the eligibility for God realization. Duratya means very difficult to overcome. Mam, unto me, eva, certainly, Yehu, prapadyante, surrender, Mayam, etam, this Maya, Taranti means crossover, Te means they. Short translation for this goes like, my divine energy consists of the three modes of nature, is very difficult to overcome, but those who surrender unto me cross over it easily. So now let's get into this topic. Why the need to surrender, and to begin with, why Maya? That actually. So now Ramayana says, so dasi raghubira ki samujhe mithya sopi. Some people think there is a philosophical branch even in Sanatan Dharam where Maya is called upon as something which is mithya. Now the concept here to understand is there is something called mithya and then there is something called asat. Mithya means something that doesn't exist. Asat means something which is temporary. Now in this case, Maya is actually factually, yesterday we saw the three entities, eternal entities of God. God himself is eternal, and then his energies are also eternal. What are those energies? One is his Swarupa Shakti, Yogamaya Shakti, Para Shakti, the Shakti aspect of God, the feminine aspect of God, which is Radha, Sita, Parvati, Lakshmi. Then there is a Tatastha Shakti, which is Jiva Shakti, which is what we are. And the third is the Maya, the external Jad Shakti of God. All three are eternal. So this is not something which is mithya. This is very real. Maya is not mithya. It's not a dream. Like in Gyan Marg, they say it's a dream. And when you wake up, the dream is broken. No, it is very, very real. Maya is actually exists. It's a Jad Shakti of God. However, Ramayana says it is actually dasi. Dasi means servant of God. It is actually serving God. Let's continue. Now, Lord Krishna has also mentioned that Maya is his energy, and he's saying Duratyaya. He's used that word, which means difficult to overcome. And if somebody can overcome God's energy, it's as good as defeating God. For us to defeat God's energy on our own, through our contemplation or through our austerity or through our vrat, jap, tap, that means we can defeat God through our effort alone. Scriptures say no, it's not possible. If you have to defeat God's energy, you have to go to God, the master. And when you prapadyante, God himself is saying, when you surrender unto me, that's when you can actually conquer it. So he's saying that you cannot do it through self-effort. No yogi, jnani, ascetic, karmi can successfully control the mind. So if you see some yogis sitting like this and all that stuff, unless they have surrendered to God, they cannot conquer Maya. It is impossible. God is very clearly telling that. So it's just like you are trying to go to moon through a ladder. Is it possible? Not, it's not possible. Similarly, Maya, it is impossible to conquer that. And in fact, our scriptures go on to say in Gyanmar, Gyanis who focus on either the Shabd, Om, or on the light. If you don't surrender, just continue progressing on that path without getting Sharanagat or surrendering to God, you can go to a certain level. And that level, within Maya, you can conquer the Avidya Maya aspect of it. But the Vidya Maya aspect of it is still there. And you are still under its influence. And you can still fall down. Your Ahankar can still pull you down. You cannot conquer it. You have to surrender to the master to actually be able to conquer it. And then he himself bestows his grace, and through his grace you can conquer it. Now we've still not tackled the question why Maya, right? So let's get into that part of it now. Now if you look at it in this world itself, bhukti aspect of it, if we get fame, if we get, so that itself can be a big pitfall, so to say. It can actually take away a lot of our mind space. Ask the people when we look at their lives, the lives, glamorous lives, and those people, what they do, there's a lot of vanity they have to indulge in, and the kind of mind space it takes for you to persist or sustain that fame, or to continue to look good and be saleable. It takes a lot of your mind space. And in a human life, if that is what you end up spending in majority, was it really a boon, or did it turn out to be a curse, is something we really have to think about. End of the day, it's our mind space which ends up getting rented somewhere. Is it really beneficial or not? That is one part. The other thing is the power part of it. When you get power, that can be pretty intoxicating as well. In fact, if somebody can restrain their power, that is where the real strength is. And when people get power, a lot of funny things can happen. This is another aspect which can actually, people crave for. So I'm calling out things in this Maya-mic world, which actually fascinates us. There's always an inherent desire to have a bit of it. If not absolute power, bit of it. Everybody enjoys that. Right? In Delhi, there is a saying, everybody is somebody and nobody is nobody. Do you know who I am? Shall I show you my identity card? Right? Everybody wants to wield their power. I know so and so. Or if you know some minister or somebody, you feel, you got something about it. So just imagine if we are so fascinated by exercising that power by using somebody else's name, or to wield it in our limited capacity, if we actually had power, how intoxicating it would be, right? And the third thing in this material world that we get very impressed with is money. We think money is something, money is also power, and it is very, very intoxicating. Our scriptures say that it is possible for a camel to be passed through the, that needle. There is a, what do you call that, the back of a needle, there's a small space in a needle where you put the dhaga or the thread. When you have to do that, a camel can pass through that space of needle. But if a person is rich, that person without ahankar is not possible. So these are the three things which they say they basically corrupt you. big time corrupts you, and it's intoxicating. Even a trace of it, if we experience it, very few people can escape it. So people who have it, and if they don't have the spiritual strength, or they have understood some of the principles of life, it's actually a curse. It's not a something great, wow, what a life. No, it's a waste actually. And they continue deepening your sanskars, and it more often than not, it is a life led in vanity and a lot of problems. In fact, Michael Jackson, can you believe he had everything in his life? Elvis Presley, for that matter. And how did they end? Michael Jackson, he had to take drugs, and not the normal drugs. He had to take the anesthesia, which is given to people before surgery, just to go to sleep. Complete loss of peace of mind. Elvis Presley, when he would take that shot every Friday evening, and then wake up directly on Monday morning, and in front of the big crowd, where he could be adulated, and he could enjoy that kick again in life. And in order to replicate that kick that he would feel from the adulation of his fans, he could not do that in his real life, and that is why he would need a shot. That is how bad it could be for our mind. And then finally they give up their life because they don't find any excitement in life. There's no kick, right? Once you get used to these kind of adulations, Rajesh Khanna, I heard he used to be a superstar, and one day he was found crying on his balcony on his birthday because there was nobody there. They don't salute you, they salute your fame. They don't salute you, they salute your power. If a chief minister is no longer a chief minister, nobody would care. If Miss World is no longer Miss World, or she has grown old, nobody will care. So we have to understand these are just facades which actually corrupt us. But our mind, we are intellectually still not convinced that these energies of Maya, the inferior energies of Maya, is not our Lakshya, nor do they give us the lasting happiness and peace that we are looking for. We are not intellectually convinced. And I would say it's in fact a mercy that if we get a regular life, and we work and earn our living, and our mind is occupied in some of the things which people say keeps us busy basically in our work and other things. Because if you start going to the other end of the extreme on the bhukti side of it, it can actually be counterproductive and can easily derail our journey. That is how bad these things can be. Furthermore, let's continue on that. So in fact, richness aspect I spoke about. So the money aspect is even more important, because in Kali Yuga and in Mrityulok, money is actually accorded, is synonymous with success, which is actually truly not the case. So Brahmaji was asked, if you were to give some injunction, one key nugget to people of three worlds, right? The upper planets, the middle planet, and the lower planets, what would it be? And Brahmaji said, the. What were these three the? It's not THE, the English the. He said the Hindi the. So when he was asked by Brihaspati, what does this the mean? So he said, people who on the higher planets, they need to do dam. Dam doesn't mean that dam maro dam. Okay, dam means restrain. So daman, basically restrain, because people who are on the higher planets, their possibilities of material enjoyments are unlimited. They don't have bodies like us which get disease and stuff like that, and their bodies are I mean, if somebody comes, the celestial gods come here, we will faint just with the aroma of the intoxication, that the odor that comes from their bodies and stuff like that. Anyways, the point here being, they have so much unlimited possibilities that they are not able to restrain their senses. So their injunction for them was dam. For the Netherlands, the lower planets, the stand for daya. Those are the people who can commit murder or commit violence for entertainment. So he said for them, the injunction is daya, learn mercy. For them, it was restraint. For them, it was mercy. And for people in the middle planet, which is where we live, they said dan. Our biggest secret stash is that to money. We cannot part it so easily. And money is accorded something, with synonymous with success and happiness, which is not the case as scriptures are telling us. So that is how intoxicating money can be in this world. And these are all material energies. Now let's go further. And these are, if you look at it, these material enjoyments, so to say, that we call, they fall into three categories. The first one, as you can see a lot of cigarettes and drinks. It is tamasic category. The second one is rajasic, where you just want to enjoy life like an ice cream. People say, chill guys, why do you have to all that? Just enjoy life. Life is like an ice cream, enjoy it before it melts. It falls into rajasic category. The third one is called the sattvic category, where you spend time in higher pursuits, not just for self enjoyment alone. You pick up cause. Some people start teaching, some people start associating themselves with some cause, heart cause, or cancer patients, or helping people, refugees. So they pick up some cause in life. They start getting into that sattvic mode. But even beyond sattva goes gunatit. Gunatit is when you actually start getting spiritual. You start understanding who is the creator, what are the laws that dictate where I am right now. So those are gunatit. You have to go beyond goodness, because goodness is also binding. That is what our scriptures tell us. Goodness will take you to celestial abodes, where you can enjoy unlimited material blisses and stuff like that. But again, it's temporary. Again, you can become an ant or a crocodile or a toad, right? So point is to go beyond that. Now, in order to go beyond that, you need to have a spiritual spark and have a guru or a mentor. Now that one step, now God, we are again coming back to Maya. These are all energies of God. Now, somebody asked this question to God. Okay, your child has forgotten you, but you are the father. Why don't you, so it's like a story goes like this. There's a child who fought with his father, or he said, okay, I can sustain myself on my own, and he left his house. And then he left his house and he became poor, and he put a tent in, just some 4,631 steps away from his father's house. So somebody said, it's your son only. He has forgotten you. He doesn't have sense, but you are his father. Why don't you go and bring him back to your home? So the father says, I am willing to take 4,631 steps. But what if I go there and he's not interested to come? Let him take one step and I'll take the remaining 4,630 steps. So that is essentially what God is saying here as well. Do we really want to get out of it is an introspective question we need to ask ourselves. We have so many agendas, unfulfilled agendas in this world. We want to repeat in this world. We want to enjoy this. We want to become like somebody like that. How cool that person is. Only if I had so much of knowledge. Only if I could become such an entrepreneur. Only if I, had this kind of a life. Only if I had perfect spouse, perfect relation, perfect kid. We have so many desires. Secret stash is unlimited. So if we do introspection, do we really want to make priority of God? It's a very sincere question we can ask, and you'll get an answer. No, we have a lot of secret stash that we need to dig and fulfill before we can make God our priority. Right? They said, somebody said that, hey, you know what? Krishna is going to give his darshan today. You want to come there? So let's go to that place. Near that hill is going to give. So that really, so everybody's flocked together and started walking there. Let's go. So in between there was a yard sale going on. So some people stopped there. Okay, let me first make out. Then furthermore, when they went, there was a cricket match going on. So some people went there as well. Then somewhere there was a marriage going on. They said, okay, let's enjoy some free food there. So by the time, there was absolutely nobody left who actually wanted to see darshan at all. So that is how our bucket list goes in our heads. We have a lot of unfulfilled agendas. The whole world we have created inside our heads, where God is there, but it is one of many things out there. Yeah, God is also there, but then I have 10 other things to do. So that is how it is. Now that if you take that one step sincerely, with devotion and a prayerful heart, wonders will start happening. That much God promises. But the first step has to be taken. Are we really interested? So today, let's say there is a bumper offer by God. Okay, I'll take everybody to Golok. And if you go to Golok, what will happen? We'll get bored, because there is only Krishna goes on there. So what level they are there, what kind of divine this we have, we don't have the eligibility for that. So we'll get bored. He said, what are we going to do here? Right? It's like that example of Indra. Indra is equated to a pig, by the way. The king of celestial abode, when it comes to in relation with the bliss in divine abodes, it is equated to that of a pig who's rolling in mud and enjoying. So this is Narad Muni says to this Indra, who's looking like a pig, you want to come? There are better possibilities outside these celestial abodes. He said, really? Let me come along. And then he starts walking with the Naradji. And on the way, there's a question that comes to his mind. He said, by the way, will there be mud there? He said, of course not. He said, then what will I do there? So we need to figure out basically what is it that truly gives us a kick. And when we start making God priority, a lot of wonderful things can start happening. But let's look at through an example of Maya. So now Maya gives us hard knocks. This world is called a university of hard knocks. And if we don't get those hard knocks, let's understand what happens. There's a reason, there's a purpose for which it is designed, right? So let's look at a story here. So it's a story of two trees. So this was a tree which was grown up by there was a guy who would take tender to this sapling, give a lot of water, fertilizer, lot of care, love, and protection. Okay, and then there was another guy who was taking care of his tree. He would give it water occasionally and let it subsist on its own and draw water from the reserves nearby. And there are a lot of plants which, so resilience kicks in those plants where there's a scarcity of resources or the going gets tough. So this is how these two trees started growing up. And one day what happened, there came a big storm. Okay, so the first tree, it fell down like this. And the second tree actually persisted because it had grown deeper roots. Similarly, when we get and if we continue to be treated with kids' gloves, this is what we'll become, right? You see an adult baby, this is not what we want to become. Now, it looks a little funny, but we are actually throwing tantrums in life only when we start complaining and all that stuff, because people who start elevating or uplifting, they start becoming they start seeing things in perspective. They don't cry or complain. I mean, crying is fine, but complain, that persistent complaint starts subsiding. In that case, you start seeing things in perspective. There's a technique called ferberization as well with kids, right? There's a doctor whose name was where kids, when they start growing up after 6 months or so, now, when they start crying, their parents will say, oh, immediately they'll start attending to them. And then there's a technique where you don't attend to them, let them cry for a bit. And then after a while, just give them a slight tap. And over a period of time, they start learning to manage their emotions. It is called ferberization. You can check it out. What happens is they are exposed to managing their emotions early. So you start understanding, and you start becoming resilient in life. And that is the purpose of Maya. There's a story of two farmers. If two sons of a farmer. So let's say there's a son who sleeps whole day, covers his face and sleeps whole day, watches IPL and does nothing. And then there's another son who goes out, puts in the hard yards, plows the field, does all the hard work. Now, if the father has an equal reward system for both, you think it will be fair? It will not be. They said, what kind of a whimsical, unfair, unjust father we have. Similarly, there are souls who have perfected themselves in this Maya itself. And Maya is our way to, it's like a sandpaper working on us to file us to perfection. If we don't learn that, we will not really perfect ourselves and reach a level that we are capable of. If everything is laid out to us on a platter, we will not be able to appreciate it, nor we will be able to lift ourselves to the heights that God expects from us. Right? The selflessness and all the stuff that we talk about, the noble virtues, the godly virtues, we'll have absolutely no incentive to improve ourselves. And that will not serve the God's purpose. So God's purpose is not to Maya's purpose is not to make our life comfortable here. We may get a mixed bag, comforts will come and then some bad times will come. So it will always continue to be a mixed bag. Its actual purpose is to push us towards its master. where we can come out better and stronger. Pain is bad, right? So pain is actually, it's like an example of a burning. When the fire is there, your hand burns. Burning is bad, but pain is good. Why? Because pain will tell your neural cells to take your hand away. Similarly, when Maya troubles us, teases us, torments us, actually that pain is good in a way, because it's actually telling you indirectly this is not the right place for you. But then we forget again and again, carry on. Okay, it happened once, maybe next time it will not happen. It's like giving ourselves that false hope. Or it has happened with somebody else, will not happen with us. That happens. It actually, this is how our mind plays the trick. If you think about it, so many miseries are there in this world. People are not even sure they'll be able to wake up, or a shell is going to take away their life and family. If you look at what's happening in Ukraine, or for the war-torn countries that are in. So this place is meant to be a place of misery. Adi Bhautik, Adi Dhaivik, Adhyatmik, right? Trigun, Tritap, Tridosh, all that stuff we have to deal with. And Maya's purpose is not to, basically, if you look at it, its purpose is to tell us, this is not the place you need to be in. It's like Tihar jail. If you become comfortable in Tihar jail, the purpose of jailer will be defeated. He'll say, okay, people want to come here and stay here only. In fact, it is said in winters in Delhi, the attendance in Tihar jail shoots up. Why? Because it's so cold outside. So they say, let's just go inside the jail only. We'll at least get a good meal and a cozy weather out there, right? So the purpose of this creation is not to make us comfortable and complacent. It is to keep us on our toes so that we keep pushing ourselves, uplifting ourselves until we realize our potential. That is the purpose of Maya. Furthermore, let's go a little deeper. But then the intent has to be made from our side. If you ask, we blame Maya, but actually we don't want to get out of Maya. It's like that horror movie that you have paid for, you're getting scared. But if somebody, do you really want to get out of it? No, you still want to sit inside and complete that movie. But this movie, Maya movie, is not getting completed. We still continue to stay here. I'll tell you another interesting story. Not from Mrityulok, but from celestial abodes. That is how deep-rooted our desires are. Okay, and there is no escape from those desires, and we keep short-selling ourselves because of those desires. Let me tell you a story of Lord Indra again. So Lord Indra, he worshipped God. So Narayan, God, appeared in front of him and he gives him a blank check. That Indra, I'm very pleased with your devotion. Ask me what you want to ask. So Indra, guess what he asks? He says, give me the most beautiful women in this world. Okay, I want to have the most beautiful women in the world. So God was like, okay. So he creates a line of women in front of him. Okay, now think of it. God is creating something to fulfill somebody's wish, that to his own boon. So you can imagine the beauty he would have created. So he created an entire line of beautiful women. And Indra, when he saw the first woman, he said, that's who I want. So when God said, at least take a look at the remaining ones, he said, no, this is good enough for me. So, and that was Urvashi actually. So Indra asked for Urvashi, but then obviously he has some sanskars. So then he goes to his guru, Brahaspati, and Brahaspati asks him, okay, what's the story here? And he said, okay, God came to me, asked me for something. I asked for Urvashi. He thought, when Brahaspati said, are you kidding me? Is that what you asked? God actually gave you a blank check, and this is what you settled for. So Brahaspati understood, Indra could not. So you can imagine our desires can actually continue to persist unless or until we have mindfully, consciously worked on it to dismantle those systematically. They are so powerful. Even in celestial abodes like Indra, you say, he's also craving for women, he's also having envy, he's also craving for a higher post of Brahma. All those desires, they continue. It's not that now they are like, oh, I've had enough of it now I'm satisfied. No, it will never get satiated. Same thing at a smaller scale. Forget about Indra. We all have our secret stash. If we really ask that introspective question, are we intellectually convinced that this is not the right place for us, and we don't want to experience any more things? just by listening to the words of scriptures and saints? Answer is no. There are so many experiences we still want to have, so many successes we still want to taste, so many relationships we still have not given closure to, that we want to resurrect. That is how it goes. Now, this question was asked about Maya by King Janak as well. I'll give you another example on it. King Janak asked his guru, what is Maya? So he explained, he gave a very interesting answer. I just liked it. You see, this guy is hugging a tree. And then if this guy who's holding or latching on to a tree, and then he says, leave me, leave me, leave me, he starts saying. That is how he defined Maya, his guru. That's essentially what we are doing. Leave me, leave me, leave me. What leave me? We only are holding on to it. We really don't want to get out of it, okay? It's just an excuse. Then we say, leave me, leave me. I'll give you another example. You get this monkey. Now, this monkey trap, you know how it works? You put some peanuts or a banana inside the jar. Monkey will come and hold that banana. And because of it, his fist, and now because it has become a fist, which fist, the circumference of fist is more than the circumference of that opening. So its hand is stuck. Its hand is stuck. And that is what Maya is. Now, he's not able to let go of banana in the jar. And that is how a monkey gets captured when, by people who need to do that. And then they make this monkey dance to their tunes. And that is essentially what is happening. So with that, I want to open it up for a bit of a discussion. And the question today is, what will it take to get the monkey convinced to let go of the banana? Let's get that going. Who's the monkey and who's the banana here?
Sandhya ji, please go ahead.
Before answering this question, I actually wanted to ask something.
Sure.
It's like, are we saying that we are not supposed to enjoy the Maya, or we shouldn't be attached to it?
So enjoyment doesn't come in seeking or holding. Enjoyment comes in giving. So the principle of Maya is, when you give, you get more in return. But our concept is just the reverse. We think we will take, hold, and then we can enjoy. So you will get that bliss that you are seeking more of. You will start getting more of it when you start giving and not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the pleasure of God, because supreme, who's the supreme? Supreme enjoyer is God. You will anyway get what you need. It's like hand and stomach relationship. Hand on itself cannot enjoy. When it starts serving the stomach, it automatically gets the nourishment and everything that it needs. So when we approach anything for our enjoyment, okay, I want to become a great professional so that I can earn more and then I can enjoy more. That's where the problem starts happening. When you start doing it for a bigger purpose, that, okay, I can earn more so that I can give more. I want to take care of my health so that I can, serve more and be able to perform devotion more. Then the bliss and the satisfaction and the peace will be a natural consequence or a byproduct of it. But when you start making it your focal point or the goal of your life, then that's when stress will start happening and all those things, funny things will start happening. So the enjoyment, when you don't seek, you will get it. But when you seek, make it a focal point, it will run. It's like a shadow. The more you chase, the more it runs away from you. More you run away from it, the more it starts chasing you. And we can actually see it through our experience. It's not just scriptures are saying, you can see it. Our life experience will tell us or teach us about that. It's like a sand. The more you try to hold it, more it will slip out of your hand. And then when you don't seek it, you are actually seeking something else, then it will start following you when you don't even seek it anymore. That is the principle of whole thing. So you have to align it to a bigger purpose, understanding the purpose of life, and then these things will just start following you. Right? That was a dialogue in that Three Idiots. When you start focusing on just becoming better at it, success and all these things will come behind you. They'll jhak maar ke, they will follow you. The same thing. All the things, success and all that stuff that we think about will follow you. It has to follow you. No other way around it. But when we think about bhog, it leads to rog. When we think about yoga, it will truly take you to the next step. So I can tell you from my personal experience, a lot of things I can tell which I have experienced. When I started off my career, it was just like very motivated, and as if we are going to make a dent in this universe, this should be like that. And having certain aspirations at a certain point in of your career. And when the more you were chasing, the more you found it was difficult to do that, right? And when, for whatever reason it started happening, you made peace with it, then things started following you. It's like things are just happening all by itself. When you're least expected, things start happening. And you can experience it in your life when you start applying some of these principles. So yeah. Okay, let's hear from others as well.
Ramya ji, go ahead, please.
Yes, Ramya ji.
Radhe Radhe. I wanted to answer this question. What will it take to get the monkey convinced to let go of the banana? So if there is a bunch of bananas outside, then it might get excited and leave that banana and try to grab something outside. That is the way. And I think in Gita, Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter also, God says this, that you need to have that a higher taste to give up the lower taste, and that higher taste is bhakti. So I could relate it to that shloka and this question.
Very true. Very true. We will not let go of banana unless we found equal or better taste, for sure. I agree, firmly agree with that. Great point, Shri Ramya ji.
Okay, Preeti ji. Okay. Pragya Sinha ji, go ahead, please.
Radhe Radhe Nitin, Radhe Radhe Amritwani ji and everyone. Yeah, as always, beautiful topic. Maya mein to gum ho gaye hum log. So yeah, it reminds me of a beautiful line from Maharaj ji. Krishna bahir mukh jeev kah maya karti adheen Radhe Radhe ताते भूल्यो कहाँ बन्यो विषय रस मीन राधे राधे. Yeah, the very fact that we are in this quagmire of Maya is because we have turned our back towards light, towards God. बहिर्मुख हैं आज से नहीं, अनादि काल से, since eternity वे हम लोग light से, भगवान से विमुख हैं. We have turned our back towards God, and there was the first mistake in the equation that we have done. Then we started, we forgot our true self. ताते भूलियो आप, हम like आपने आपको ही हम भूल गए who we are. We are the soul, not the body, and we have forgotten ourselves, our true identity, and that is how we have turned our back to our source. And because of this one compounding mistake, we have started identifying ourselves with the body and started running for the pleasure of our senses. Yes. We remember that we are the soul. Yes, I agree 100% that we will turn only when we taste something better and higher. But wo better and higher is not a quick fix thing, like tasting a chocolate ki muh mein dale or immediately sweet, bitter, cocoa, whatever. It's not. The higher the thing you are aspiring for, higher the aspiration, even in the world, higher the mehnat, higher you have to exert for it. True. To know or to taste that bliss. It can be like a success in your career also. So very in this case, God is paroch. It's not like क्षणिक नहीं है. Once you get it, एक बार आप सम्मुख होते हो भगवान के, तो कभी भी विमुख नहीं होता वो soul. That is the bliss that we get once we turn towards God. That is what I wanted to say, that since we have forgotten our identity, this Maya has engulfed us in ignorance, and the only way to get over it is Vidya. But yeah, I just remembered that you were saying that Vidya and Avidya both is Maya, and then again we need to rise above that also by surrendering to God, and the equation comes back to devotion. But at the moment, our present state is shrouded and clouded in vrittis. All these vrittis of likes, dislikes, anger, greed, lust, and everything that we face day in, day out. Every second when the mind throws so many choices. Sorry, Yeah, Nitin can carry forward. And thank you. Radhe
No,
Radhe.
beautiful point. I think the compounding mistake that you spoke about, yes, that's what results in that. And that's born out of ignorance. And that is where knowledge comes in handy, because that knowledge slips frequently. It's not easy to do that. I mean, Sandhya was asking me that question. I mean, I still enjoy a lot of things which knowingly it's not good, but you still go for that, right? And that is where we need to, over time, we need to get better at each one of those with proper knowledge and contemplation. Um, and that is the whole idea. And that shadow principle, you can apply it and see it in your life. It happens. Trust me, I've started getting so many things professionally, which, I used to think it, you have to work really hard for those. Now I don't do hard work. I hardly work. I mean, at least from my own perspective, I would say, but things start following you somehow. It happens automatically. It starts happening. But the key thing here is to mindfully, first of all, acknowledge and understand our secret stash. We have so many agendas in our mind and head, right? And those have to diminish over time if we have to give more and more space to God. Because time and again, Bhagavad Gita, God is saying, Satat Yukta Nam, Ananya Shintayanto Mam, exclusive, continuous. So those are big words, right? Just think of what effort would it take to actually get to that state. And getting the inspiration, getting the right knowledge, getting the human birth, getting a guru, all these factors converging is a huge thing. We cannot take those for granted, that every time it will happen just like that. So if those factors are converging, like they say in English, there's a saying, make hay when the sun shines. We should make the most out of it, actually, if you really think about it. Wonderful, great thoughts. Let's hear from other participants as well. Eye of the needle, yes, I got that. Okay, I was struggling for words, what is that space and in the needle? Thank you, Seemaji, for that. Yes.
Go ahead, Seemaji.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Read what I had here. What will it take to convince the monkey to let go of the banana? It's that's what we are doing, and we need to surrender with bhakti. And it happens when we do selfless seva and align our goal with higher goals. That's when we can enjoy Maya, but know that it is impermanent, ephemeral, and it is transient. So the best thing to do is, if we do selfless service, that gives us a great joy, and slowly we are able to detach from Maya. And the other thing you were saying, Nitinji, was the answer to that was, when you go after Lakshmi, Saraswati will follow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great point, Seemaji. That's wonderful. When I think about this topic, right, it's like, are we really convinced we want to get out of Maya? That is a question that needs to be asked. You ask so many people, they say, no, we want to experience so many things. We're not yet done. So we are not really convinced about it, because that was a question we asked, right? That how many of us believe in God? I think most of us will start raising their hand. But our scriptures tell us that if you truly believe in God, you'll realize Him. So there's absolutely no difference between believing in God and realizing God. That is how powerful it is. But we believe it, but not the level of belief that is truly needed. So it's very simple. God has made it simple, at the same time difficult, because of our conditioning that we have acquired over lifetimes.
But what I believe is the present moment happiness. Embrace that, be in it, and spread it, share it with others. But be very mindful and conscious that it is impermanent. And
True.
When we have that sentiment, we're able to fully exist in the moment with enthusiasm.
Wonderful.
And then let it go. And that way you're making your world and everybody around you happy, and they want to be in your presence. That increases your auspicious aura also around you. That's what I believe. So not necessarily totally detached from Maya. Use Maya to overcome Maya.
True. Great point. Yep. Thank you very much. Beautiful point. And please post the feedback tracker. Any announcements, Samrutamani ji, before we continue with our discussion? You want to make
Yes, Nitinji, yes, few announcements.
around Holi, the festival that we have coming up?
Yes, we do have the Holi festival that's coming up. We need volunteers, so people in Dallas, it would be great if you could sign up. I am posting the volunteering form, so please do see whichever time is available and do fill the form. The attendance tracker, I'll just post it in a minute. Parenting Pearls, also that will be starting soon. That link also I will be posting. So these three announcements: Holi, Parenting Pearls, and please fill the feedback tracker. Yes, Nitinji, that's it for the announcements.
Yeah, Holi event is going to be pretty amazing. And also, if you're in around Dallas or in US, do plan for the family camp. This time it's in the last week of June. Do attend that. It's a wonderful, wonderful time of the year. And then we have retreats as well with Swamiji. It's an event where, when you come back, it takes a while for you to get used to, the things. It's so blissful out there. So do plan for it. It's a great, great opportunity, I should say. And don't miss out on retreats and family camp, especially if you can make it, carve out some time for it. Great. All right, let's hear from other participants and have a bit of a discussion. I know we're closing in on time, but we can spare maybe another 5-6 minutes.
Rahulji, you can unmute yourself.
And please fill out the feedback tracker as well in the meantime.
Radhe Radhe. I think on a lighter note, the monkey has to start attending the daily wisdom from Bhagavad Gita class hosted by Nitinji, because then only in his intellect it will be more clear that the bliss which he is seeking in that banana is not there. Maybe it is only kshanik and then it will disappear. But the actual bliss is in the lotus feet of Lord. So that is what we have to contemplate every time whenever we are trying to divert from the path.
Oh, great. I think it won't be very difficult to motivate that monkey, because the person who takes the session, he'll say it looks a little bit of my kind only. So it is easier to motivate it. But yeah, good point. I think we all are trying to get out of that monkey mindset. And so good point. Yeah, I think knowledge is the key. The more knowledge we get and the more that knowledge sinks deeper and deeper. See, we think, at least I have been guilty of that. I have heard something from somebody. I said, okay, I've heard it. Now I really hear it and think about it, and 2 times and 3 times, and make mental notes and actual notes and think about how to create it in a slide. Now the knowledge has started sinking deep, and it's never enough actually. The same topic, you do it 10, 20, 30 times. It's still not enough. That is how fickle-minded we are. In Kali Yuga, in Patanjali Yuga Sutras, it says that we don't grasp it actually. And it is said the knowledge needs to be ruminated upon. Like a cow does that, it has 4 stomachs. Keep on ruminating it and keep on revising it. Keep on flanking it with different, this thing, and then hopefully one day it will sink in. Because when we are out of this satsang, again we are back into the same mode, right? It's so nice to pick up a gossip, call somebody, hey, what's going on? Without reason, you start asking what's going on, what that person is doing. Oh, he really did that. Like, all these things will come back to us. But when the knowledge will start deepening, then you'll start like, no, I'm wasting time. Let me take a pause. Because for us to get into that rut of our old habits is very easy as soon as the knowledge slips. So we should never underestimate the power of knowledge on this path, because it's only because of lack of knowledge we are in the predicament that we are in right now. Great point. And
Like
this
Maharaj,
you're doing actually gives us a 1 full hour of thinking about, that actually adds a lot. At least it's adding a lot of value to my life, and hope that's the same with all of you as well.
and like Maharaj ji says that बच्चे इतने नालायक हो गए हैं कि माया हर दिन जूते चप्पल उनको खिला रही है, लेकिन अभी तक समझ नहीं पाएगी आनंद है कहाँ पे.
Very true, very true. In fact, I'll tell you a story. Okay, let's hear from Arti first. Then I'll tell you that quick story about Maya and this concept that you bring in. But let me tell it. Okay, it's a very nice story before I forget. So there was a guy who used to be very skeptical of all these spiritual topics. So what he would do is, while Shri Maharaj Ji would give lecture, he would pace back and forth outside, and he will not go. And then one day, something fell into his ears. Maybe kripa had to happen, and he said, "Oh, it makes sense actually." And then he heard more of it and more of it, more of it. And finally, when he went to him, he fell down at his feet. So Maharaji said, I should be falling down at your feet. He said, he didn't understand why. He said, person, it's like if you are roaming around with a torn shoe, right? And somebody is walking with a new shoe, proper comfortable shoe. Who is doing a tyag? So this guy said, you are such a big tyagi to Maharaj. Maharaj said, no, I'm not tyagi, you are tyagi. So then he understood, how am I tyagi? I'm actually bhogi in the material world. So he said, like a person who is walking around with a torn shoe, who's bearing pain? The one who's in a comfortable shoe or a torn shoe? So you are tyagi. You have been doing that in this world. So you have rejected God. You have rejected bliss and you have embraced Maya and the pains of it. So you are the real renunciate. So all of us are renunciate from that sense. We have rejected God and God's bliss and we have embraced Maya. And we are happy in its miseries and whatever little temporary blisses we get out of it. So, okay, let's quickly take a couple of participants and then we can.
Padmaji, please go ahead. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Padmaji.
So I think all the knowledge and everything will fall into place exactly the way that they're supposed to when at least we are humble enough to take those baby steps to say we are broken and we are influenced by Maya. When you give that to God from a purest heart that you're broken and you're influenced by God and I'm not able to break it, genuinely, when you give that, he will give you that baby steps and the upgrades that you need. As you show him that conviction, he will give those energy back to you and how to actually navigate those waters. That is number one, at least for me. And to understand what Maya is, the perspective, if you take it from a perspective of this is a resistance for a purpose, think about that as a purpose. There is a resistance for a purpose, and that purpose is to purify ourselves from inside. And you should be willing to go through this Maya and understand that there is a better thing which is out there for us, which is the peace and the bliss that we get in trying to connect with God. And the churning process that life gives you, whatever the curveballs that life throws at you, you should let it. When I say let go of the control, our intellect, our materialistic mind would say, how can I let go of the situations? And I think in my own experience, it is not letting go of the actions, but you are taking the actions moderately as much as it's involved from the material perspective, which is outside, but the spiritual side, you leave it up to God, but you give that situation or the person or the Maya, which is coming in front of your door, as much as it needed, the energy and the balance that you need give. That is what God gives you, the balance of from external world, and then you still connected with, from inside. That is that's my own realization. And looking at the picture, what I'm seeing is it is the monkey who decided to put the hand. So it has to be the monkey which decides that it has to get the hand out. But many times what happens is we go through many, many years to actually realize that based on our samskaras or our past karmas or whatever. But in that moment, if you have good karmas, if you have a true conviction and you're willing to ask him for help, unless you're not willing to ask him for help, he's not going to be at your door, at a doorbell and give it to you. So when that moment and reversal comes that I need your help, I cannot do this alone, then he gives you that strength to say, okay, you are the one who stuck your hand in this glass. Now you will be the one who will take the glass out of your glass. But here is the strength of the upgrade that I'm giving you, because you have given me the true conviction through your actions, not by just saying it, but show him in actions that you truly mean it.
Wonderful. Great point. Yes. We have to seek God's help along the way. And that is essentially what devotion is, where we say, I'm asahaya, nirbal, I don't have any means. And when we really approach it with sincerity, humility, right? Humility is called the foundation of devotion. Yes, we will get help, because God is actually waiting with we have only tied up his hands, right? He's like, why would he withdraw he's actually waiting for us. And then we start making it a priority, a lot of wonderful things will start happening. We can start realizing it. And also the opportunity, when we see reversals in our life, we even take that as an opportunity to uplift ourselves. Yeah. What is the difference between a coal and a diamond? A diamond is a coal which could sustain pressure for an extended period of time, right? It is chemically, they both are the same. But the coal, then It could withstand that pressure, and then it became a diamond. So that is the whole idea. We cannot simply crumble at the very first thing. They said that Durjan's Kumhar, I think, forgot the Kabir Doha, that it is like Kumhars, people who are not resilient spiritually, once they fall down, they break. But people who are resilient, they come back stronger, better out of that experience, right? So that is how it's meant to be. And also it is said that Maya will give you reversal. So they say Gyani bhukte gyanate, Murak bhukte roe. You still have to go through that. If you are Agyani or Murak, you will cry. You will keep on crying. But Gyani, person with knowledge, discrimination, will actually deal with it with perspective, with knowledge, and beat it over a period of time. So that choice is with you, and it's important to invest on ourselves for our eternal well-being, not just for this lifetime, because Lord Krishna has done such a huge mercy by saying that he's going to preserve it for us. So if we have built that resilience is not just for this lifetime. This is perpetual asset across lifetimes, and how liberating, refreshing, empowering it is. Just think of it. So this self-transformation and spirituality is the most wonderful, exciting, enthralling project you will ever undertake. That is how beautiful it is. So this 1 hour that we spend is actually very, very rewarding, and it will go a long way in building those assets that will serve us really well in long run. And when I say long run, long means long run even after this lifetime. So that is how powerful it is. Okay, last question, and then we can call it a day for today. Tomorrow we'll continue on our journey with Bhagavad Gita, in sequence.
Swati ji, go ahead, please. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Whatever I wanted to say, already Nitin sir said it, that Maya is the jar, and we have put our hand in the Maya, and we are telling that this jar is not letting my hand come out. But actually we are holding the hand, and we are blaming that Maya that he is not letting me take my hand out. Actually we can realize it, but we are putting our all on the Maya, that Maya is doing this, Maya is doing, but actually we are doing it. And for that we need Guru. Guru will give us the knowledge, and with that knowledge we will make our hand free, that this is not mine. Mine is God. So we'll go towards the God with that knowledge.
It's our own doing, not Maya is not doing it. Yeah, very true. Beautiful points. All right, do we have any more? Last, real quick.
Aarti ji, if you can be real quick, please go ahead. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe everyone. Radhe Radhe Nitin ji. Actually, it is more about faith. With faith, everything will also take its own place. Like we think that it is we who are doing and taking care of everything, and so things are at their right place. No, it is not like that. Even we can see the life of so many people who were orphan and who made it to the top. I mean, it is not that we should not take care of our kids, or we should not, but it should be in a balanced approach. Like we can see the birds and animals, they are not storing things and not making a security thing, but still they are not sleeping without food. Even they are also getting food. And somewhere a balance, after a point of time, we have to make out that this, total surrender should be there. That is very important. Draupadi kept on struggling to protect herself, and the moment she surrendered that now I cannot do on my own, then Lord came. It is the same that we are under the fear that things will not fall in place, it will not work. No, they will still fall in place. That faith and surrender is the requirement.
Yes, Aarti ji, beautiful points. Yes, faith and surrender is the key, and that will help us overcome Maya through God's grace itself. Beautiful. All right, one hand I see real quick. We can do
that. Shruti ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Amritwani ji, Radhe Radhe. I think it takes soul searching. We need to do soul search to get the monkey to take the hand out. Because if we don't do it intentionally, We have to do soul searching, means we have to do it intentionally, on purpose, take it out. Because if God takes it out, we might just put it again, because we won't be content, just like Indra's story related, that even if we are taken to Golok, we would really want to come back to Maya to enjoy it. So search your soul. Do you really want to go there, or you still want to enjoy? As I'm just trying to, do it, like think that do I really want to, go that far? Do I really want to, take this path? Like I'm trying to leave non-veg, let's say, and I'm not even able to do that. It's really difficult. You look at biryani and it's like mouth-watering. The clutches of Maya are really, really powerful. So yeah, soul searching, I think if we really, really want to do it, then it would be easy. So get out of the clutches.
Very true. Its clutches are strong because we have empowered it over lifetimes, for sure. I mean, if you ask me, I want to go to Golok, yeah, but maybe somewhere there in my heart, there is a desire to see India win one more World Cup, okay, before I go there. So we all have those kind of secret stashes, somewhere around the time. So we need to get better at it. And intellectually, we have to convince ourselves what is really beneficial for us. Okay, what we are actually seeing is it comes with a price tag, and the price tag is pretty heavy. Repeating in this material world, it is like walking through a dangerous forest. At every step, there is danger. Every step, if you think about it in life.
Yeah,
okay,
we keep on accumulating karma.
Karmas as well, yeah. And it's very dangerous. This life is actually very treacherous. If you see the possibilities, not to depress anybody, but actually it is. I mean, if you lead life in ignorance without building spiritual resilience, it's not a fun place to be in. Okay. It can catch up with everybody. So, all right. We'll continue with our discussion. I know it's late, so let's do our closing prayers. Who wants to take lead today? I think we decided somebody can raise their hand. People who are on camera.
Yeah, Nitinji, one quick comment.
Yes.
Can you please post your email ID to Sam G, not our, there is another Sam G.
Yeah, so, okay. Yeah, if you can put it in attendance tracker, I will post it to you.
So yeah, like I'll give it to Padma ji, Rahul ji, and all of them who have turned on their cameras.
Sure.
Sandhya ji, Shyam
You want
ji.
me to pull up the prayer?
The prayer, yes. And one more quick thing, from Monday, people, I mean, apart from India, anywhere, I mean, from India and everywhere, the timings will change here in US. We are 1 hour ahead. So
yes, good news from that standpoint. It's going to be 1 hour early in India. So it will not be the office time for you. So which I believe will work for more people now, because it will be 1 hour early at India. It will be much more convenient. I'm sure a lot of people are talking about moving this session 1 hour early. It will naturally happen now because sun and earth are going to cooperate. Okay. Timing slots are difficult to change, but at least we get 6 months of favorable time for in India. So I hope more people can join starting next Monday. So please do keep that in mind. We'll keep reminding you anyways.
Can you put the slide up? Sorry.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can.
Please go ahead.
Om Sarve
Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah
Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchit Dukhabhag Bhavet.
Om Shanti.
Very nice. So we can take turns from time to time, each one of us, and that's a good way to end our session. So wonderful. Thank you again for your enthusiastic participation. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. We will continue with our journey of Bhagavad Gita with our shloka. I think we will probably do 4.8 or 4.9. Yet to decide, but we'll pick up one of these. So I'll see you again.
For is the parenting program available in Indian rupees and promo code? Yes, it is available in Indian rupees. I'll just post the link once again. Ajit Kumarji, you can.
Yes, the only currency it is not available is Bitcoin. Okay, so You should be able to enroll for it.
Yeah, just give me a minute. I will post the link once again.
Right, and please fill out the attendance tracker, and Samji, I can give you my email address. We can get in touch.
I just posted it, Ajit Kumarji.
Okay.
I'll just wait for 30 seconds so that they can fill our.
Sure. All right then, Radhe Radhe. Have a wonderful day, great rest of your evening, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Radhe Radhe. Thank you.
Radhe Radhe.
Nitinji.
Thank you.
Good day. Good night, everyone.
Good day, good night.
Yeah, I see Sunil ji. Is there any promo code for Indian rupees thing, Sunil ji? Do you know it by any chance? Ajit ji, probably tomorrow I can let you know if there is any promo code for this Indian rupees. Thank you, everyone. Radhe Radhe.